What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined by my dad, Sean, and today it is the start of our new series, brand new series. Been looking forward to this for a while.
We've been talking about it for a while.
Ooh, it is time for our top 5 albums draft of each year, starting with this video, which is 1965, and we're going to be working on this for a little over a year, because we're going to go all the way up to 2020, or maybe even 21.
But yeah, I was going to say 21 by the time we're done. Another cool thing we're going to do is every Thursday night on Twitch. There's a link below. Come follow us on Twitch if you haven't. It's real easy if you've never joined. Doesn't cost you anything. Every Thursday night, 6 o'clock Central Time. We've been doing listening parties, Trey, for probably the last 6 months. Well, now for the next basic year, these are going to be our listening parties. So this goes up every Friday. And then our patrons, if you haven't joined Patreon yet, we'd super appreciate it. For it's a little $1 a month. You get all kinds of good value in there. Early releases. Trey puts up the early stuff every single day. You're going to see it way before it hits YouTube. But you're also going to get to vote in polls. And we'll put a poll up of the top 3 albums. We'll come to a consensus between the two of us for 1965 in this instance. You're going to go vote, patrons. You're going to decide what we're going to listen to on that listening party every Thursday night at 6 o'clock. So every Friday, the video will debut, and then one of those albums will be played that following Thursday. So come check that out.
Great way to get the community involved, and for some of you who haven't listened to these records, man, be a chance to dive in and, of course, listen to them together.
Let's talk about how we did this.
What's going to happen, you're going to draft first here. You get first pick. I'm going to get the next 2 picks. If you get the top dog pick,
right,
you know, you get obviously your choice of whatever record you want.
But it can work out both ways. Sometimes you'd rather have 2 or 3.
That's what I'm thinking, too, especially in some of these really stacked years, which, I mean, especially in this late 60s period and early 70s is just ridiculously filled with classics. And we want your help, ladies and gentlemen, on who is going to win the draft here. Be sure to let us know in the comments. We'll kind of be doing a tally, and we're going to see at the very end who got more. So you can either judge it by who just had the best 5 albums you think, or are you going to be looking at,
you're going to try to sell something
here. Who had the diversity of genres, who had the different, just like a sports team, we need people to fit into different areas.
Or do you just want to pick the absolute best? Or
whatever you want.
If you're picking a team, are you going to be like, oh, I want guys with different tools, or I just want the 5 best people?
I mean, that chemistry, Sean, you don't know. But let us know in the comments below, y'all. And, of course, let us know your top 5 of each year. And, Dad, 1965, throwing it way back. We thought this was a good year to choose to start this off. Some absolutely heavy hitters, some legendary records among some of my favorites of all time here. And I think it's going to be a fun. And we'll also note our honorable mentions at the end as well. And any we didn't touch on, be sure to let us know in the comments. Get us some more stuff to listen to.
Exactly.
But Dad, I guess that's enough talk. Let's cue this draft off. You are going to start not only first pick of 65, but first pick in this draft journey.
Well, and it's easy for me. This is my second favorite album of all time. Mr. Bob Dylan, Highway 61 Revisited. His 6th album, Trey, we got Like a Rolling Stone, Ballad of a Thin Man, and then we got the 11-minute epic Desolation Row. You know, smack dab in the middle of his 3-album run that was in 14 months' time, from Bringing It All Back Home to Highway 61 Revisited, Blonde on Blonde. It doesn't get any better than that.
No, I mean, that's got to arguably be the best 3-album run stretch, I think, of anyone all time, man. So, I mean, I can't dispute that. That is a very valid number 1 pick here.
And he may show up again.
Yeah, he may show up again, maybe in my picks coming up. So, this was one I had to not think about too much, man, because my first pick for 1965 going with the great John Coltrane, A Love Supreme. I recently listened to this for the first time about
Christmas time.
Christmas time.
You're spinning it on repeat.
A little less than a year ago, man, and it's one of those handful of records that I've ever listened to where I was like, this is a 10 out of 10 on first listen, man.
Yeah, that's rare.
It was just, and you'll notice that on these jazz records too. These guys would go out, let's just bust it out in a single session, and it's some of the greatest music ever recorded, man. So we have Coltrane's quartet in here, featuring him, of course, on the saxophone. We got McCoy Tyner on on the piano. We got Elvin Jones on the drums and Jimmy Garrison on that double bass right there. And this one is just a continuous piece of music, about 32 minutes long, split up into 4 parts here. And my favorite, there's so many moments in here. Everybody gets a time to shine with their solos and whatnot. My favorite from this has to be the ending psalm, though, where Coltrane literally is playing a prayer through his saxophone. He has the prayer in the liner notes. Nobody really figured that out until kind of years down the line. They were like, what is this, man? And it's just a spiritual experience. At least that's how it resonates with me. One of those records I could listen to every day. So that's my first pick. And my second pick is also going to be Mr. Bob Dylan here. My first Bob Dylan record I ever heard, bringing it all back home.
Mine too, that I ever heard.
Ooh, his 5th record, first top 10 album in the U.S. Obviously here, starting out with going into that electric period. That on that first side, you got Subterranean Homesick Blues,
which was his first top 40 hit, only went to 39.
So loaded. She Belongs to Me is absolutely iconic. I love Maggie's Farm, Bob Dylan's 115th Dream. Then we go to that second side where we go back to acoustic. I remember the first time listening to It's Alright Ma. That showed me just how intelligent like music could be, man. And that's where Dylan really just gripped me, and hasn't let go since. And then of course finishing, we have Mr. Tambourine Man, and finishing it out with It's All Over Now, Baby Blue. Just an iconic record, man.
And it's also my top 10 albums of all time, dude, as well. So
killer. So what do you got? Your second pick here?
Yeah, my second pick, Trey, the Beatles, Help, 5th studio album. Obviously, you got the iconic title track, but you also got You've Got to Hide Your Love Away, one of the underrated tracks. One of my favorite Beatles tracks, I've Just Seen a Face.
That's
Obviously,
right.
you got Yesterday, Ticket to Ride. But I think this is a very, very underrated album in the Beatles canon. I'm not going to talk much more about it, guys. If you're new to the channel, we have over 50, maybe 60 now. We got every track-by-track review of the Beatles. We got every song. We song ranked every song on every album. So, yeah, the Beatles going to be at 2 for me. My number 3, that you're going to see a theme here, is the Beatles' Rubber Soul. So I actually hold, if you're doing the math at home, I actually hold Help slightly higher than Rubber Soul. I'm in the minority. Obviously, Rubber Soul is the next album. Went to 6th. Starts the studio as an instrument in their career. Nowhere Man, the iconic In My Life.
No,
I'm
that's
Looking
right.
Through You.
One of the great songs ever.
But just things really change here. So that is my number 3 pick.
My third pick now, gonna get a little soul up in here, Sean. Gonna get a little soul. Mr.
Pick.
Otis Redding with his record, Otis Blue. I mean, Otis has got that voice that you can't help but love. And I mean, on this, there's so many legends in the studio on this. We have Booker T and the MGs.
Because they're at Stax.
Yeah, at Stax. We have members of the Marquees. We have the Memphis Horns. Even Isaac Hayes is on piano on this. I mean, so much talent in this. A lot of this record is covers of those R&B and soul classics of the day. Of course, the change is going to come. The great Sam Cooke. There's 3 Sam Cooke covers on this. This was released shortly after he passed away. We got the cover of Satisfaction by the Stones, which I really like. My Girl, even Respect by Aretha on here. And when you just combine the Stax sound with Otis's voice, you can't beat it, man. So had to give Otis some love there. My 4th pick, man, we're gonna keep it a little Motown action, man. Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, Going to a Go-Go. You start this record off with one of the great songs ever, I think, with the tracks of My Tears here. The A-side is just absolutely loaded. Smokey Robinson, one of the great singers and songwriters, especially from 62 to 66. You look at his body of work from there being one of the lead songwriters for the whole Motown label.
He was putting in the work for Motown. This was their only top 10 album, by the way. And the first album that Smokey got taken out from it, it became Smokey Robinson and the Miracles.
Well, and a lot of these older 60s Motown groups, looked at as singles
of course
groups, but I think this album really does stand up on its own. And I know you're a big fan of it as well. I like the track Choosy Beggar on here. We have also Going to a Go-Go and My Girl Has Gone, Ooh Baby Baby. I mean, so many great songs, and you even got the Funk Brothers on backing them. So when they're involved, it's gonna be fire, man.
Now we're on to my number 4 pick. I have the Paul Simon Songbook. I only recently listened. It's probably about 5 or 6 months ago. One of our patrons brought this for an album reaction. Your sister and I actually reacted to it. I absolutely loved it. You got I Am a Rock, The Sound of Silence, which had already been out, and who knows what would have happened if that song, if the Sound of Silence, I won't go into the whole story, but if it would not have been electrified, then Paul had already went to England after their first album because it did not sell well for Simon and Garfunkel. They were broke up. Garfunkel was in college. Paul's traveling all over Europe, living in the UK, doing his thing. But a lot of these songs are later remanufactured on Simon and Garfunkel albums, but this was the original one. So it's interesting to listen to because I knew the Simon and Garfunkel first. A lot of these are stripped back acoustic, but an absolutely fantastic album. It wasn't available in the States until the 80s. This was a UK only release, but I went ahead and went with it anyway.
Dude, the songwriters are showing up strong.
They are. My 5th and final choice, Turn, 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 the Byrds, their second album. Obviously, the title track is iconic. Less than 30 minutes. A couple of Dylan's tunes, as there always are. The times they are changing. Lay Down Your Weary Tune. They covered Dylan 13 or 14 times in their career and had great success with it. But Bob actually signed off on it. He was a big fan of what they were doing. So yeah, that's my top 5.
Hey, there you go, man.
Well, my top 5 and the fact that I can't pick all my true top 5 because we're trading back and forth.
And rounding it out for me, man, got to do a record that I just heard for the first time recently, and I thought it was just fantastic. It's going to be the Beach Boys' Today record, their 8th album, coming in almost a bit of a precursor in some ways to Pet Sounds. Yes. It's only 28 minutes long, and here we have Brian Wilson producing everything, writing most of the songs. We got Mike Love contributing some lyricism as well. Shifting,
we won't hold that against it though.
Shifting, especially on that B side, to a bit more introspective, a very lush record, Dad, as you would find kind of that orchestral sound going in. That of course would be further seen on Pet Sounds, which we'll see in next draft.
Yeah, I imagine we will. I imagine it'll pop up.
Some gorgeous harmonies on here as you'd expect, and like I said, man, just love the increasing maturity of the Beach Boys here, and gotta give them some love. So that's gonna round out my top 5.
So honorable mention, Trey, I didn't really pick any. What do you got?
Yeah, my honorable mention would be the Who's My Generation. Just missed the cut here.
Just missed mine as well.
Yeah, Beach Boys just had too much firepower from start to finish. Of course, you have the title track, My Generation, which really it just packs a punch and still has that energy all these years later.
Yeah, it's number 11 on the Rolling Stones top 500 songs of all time. The album went to 5 in the UK. Trey, did not chart in the US, but there's a couple cool guys in the studio with them.
No, that's right, man. Got a little Jimmy Page and Nicky Hopkins action on that. So,
and the Who actually don't like that album. They've actually spoke disparagingly of it. But your first album is tough.
Well, let us know, ladies and gentlemen, now that we are wrapped up, who you got winning this draft today, man. It was a fun one. Fun to get the first one under our belt, man.
Yes, it was.
Don't be swaying the audience.
You absolutely were swaying them at the start with the way you presented it. But this is a good time.
I'm gonna say, I'm just saying. But be sure to let us know, and of course we will be back next week with 1966, an absolutely loaded year.
Yep.
And your boys got first pick.
Just a reminder, guys. One of these albums will be up on our listening party next Thursday night. It's up to you, the patrons, to vote and figure out which one that is. There'll be 3 choices up there, 6 o'clock Central Time on Thursday. Go follow us on Twitch down below. If you haven't joined Patreon yet, we super would appreciate it if you would take a look at it. It's a little $1 a month. You can join, as I mentioned at the start, and go vote in the poll.
And until next time, y'all, thanks for watching. Happy listening, and we will see ya.